When I was younger and I would be in class, it would be really hard for me to focus on my work. I always thought it was something wrong, but I didn't really know. In school, it's kind of just like one of those things. I don't want people to think I'm slow, but I can't focus. Like, I don't know what it is. I never really shared it with my parents or like my guardian or anything like that because I just didn't know like what was happening. Fast forward to adulthood and I'm just like, why can't I focus? I'm like, maybe it's normal. Maybe it's just like the school system failed me. Maybe my parents failed me. Maybe it's something like I just don't understand what it is. One day I was speaking to a friend of mine who so happened to be discussing like that she struggles with ADHD. So I'm like, So I'm listening to like some of the things that she struggles with. And I'm like, I struggle with similar things. She was more like on the hyper side of things. A lot of other things we had in common. So I was like, okay, let me look into this. So I started looking into ADHD. A lot of the symptoms I resonated with. I just ended up like ordering this book on Audible about women with ADHD. So today I want to share with you guys some of the things that may help you to realize that you may be struggling with ADHD as well. So I'm Quee. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about ADHD. Have you ever felt like you're constantly juggling too much, yet still feel like you're not getting anywhere? You're not alone. See, ADHD in women often goes unnoticed, leaving many of us feeling misunderstood and overwhelmed. In this video, we'll explore the unique ways ADHD shows up in women, the struggles we face, and the strengths we can embrace. Whether you've recently been diagnosed or suspect you might have ADHD, this is a safe space to feel empowered and seen. So let's dive in. ADHD in women often flies under the radar, with many of us not getting diagnosed until adulthood. Why? Because ADHD in girls looks different than it does in boys. As kids, we may have been labeled like daydreamers or spacey, but because we weren't disruptive, our symptoms were overlooked. Instead of hyperactivity, as I mentioned, my friend struggles with, many girls with ADHD struggles with inattentiveness, disorganization, and emotional sensitivity. So I myself feel that I struggle with inattentiveness, and sometimes I could be very disorganized, but weirdly enough, before I came across the book, I was already working on progressing with the ADHD that I didn't even realize that I had for a long time. It's crazy. So fast forward to adulthood, and ADHD can manifest as procrastination, chronic stress, or difficulty managing responsibility. Mine's is definitely procrastination. Like, I procrastinate so badly and it stresses me out so badly. So this was one of the biggest things that I saw and I resonated with, and I'm like, I think this is it for me. For many women, the diagnosis only comes after years of being misdiagnosed with anxiety and depression. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of women online talking about how much they struggle with anxiety and depression. And sometimes that can be misdiagnosed. So you definitely want to go and look into whether you have ADHD or not. There are ways to be assessed. So you can definitely speak to your doctor about that to make sure that you aren't being misdiagnosed, because it's really important not to be misdiagnosed. I would hate for someone to have to take anxiety and depression meds and that's not even what they're struggling with, you know? So finally understanding the root of our challenges can be both a relief and an emotional process. One of the harder parts of living with ADHD as a woman is the need to mask our struggles. We're often told to be organized, put together, and perfect, and so we overcompensate. We might spend hours preparing for a simple task, just to avoid being judged, or hide our true feelings pretending everything is fine when inside we're overwhelmed. This perfectionism doesn't just exhaust us, it often leads to feelings of never being good enough. Another common challenge is emotional sensitivity. Small criticisms can feel like huge rejection, and even minor mistakes can trigger us intensely with self doubt. This is called rejection sensitivity dysphoria, a term many women with ADHD resonate with deeply. But this sensitivity isn't all bad. It also means we're highly empathetic and in tune with others' emotions. Struggles managing time and staying organized can feel like an uphill battle. Forgetting appointments, starting projects but not finishing them, or losing track of time altogether are daily struggles for women with ADHD. It's not because we don't care, it's because our brains are wired differently. If we use tools like planners, reminders, and break our task into smaller steps, this can help us, but it's important to acknowledge how much effort these things requires from us. ADHD doesn't just affect how we manage our lives, it also impacts our relationships and careers. I used to have so much anxiety at work, especially working in a retail atmosphere. I literally, you can go back and look at videos of me like talking about how much I hate working in retail. I had so much anxiety in that environment because it is so demanding of social abilities, and a lot of times in those environments people expect you to be hyper active, and it's like, no, I like to be chill and I could still sell these products. But that was one of my biggest things, and I really feel like that also had a lot to do with me struggling with ADHD. Now I haven't went and got diagnosed yet, but resonate so much with all of these things that I'm just like 100% sure this is something that I'm struggling with. So I am going to, get assessed soon, but I wanted to share this information with you guys because I believe that is very, very important. So in social settings, we might interrupt others or lose track of conversations, making us feel self-conscious, or we might forget important dates or worry that people would think we don't care. I struggle with that a lot too. Sometimes I may be very forgetful. Other times I'm able to remember things. I don't know what that is, but that's definitely a thing. At work, rigid routines or tight deadlines can feel overwhelming. But here's the thing. Women with ADHD thrive in creative and flexible environments. I hate repetitive things. Like, I cannot work at jobs where I'm doing things repetitively. It drives me crazy. I remember I used to work for USPS. Getting up every day doing the exact same thing, doing the same route every day was driving me crazy. I was like, oh no. Then years later, I get hired at Amazon driving the trucks, doing the same exact thing. Now I'm just delivering packages. I'm like, yo, I have to get out of this. But what I thrive the most is when I'm doing things like this, creating videos, doing makeup, things that are creative for me that allows me to do more. That's where I thrive. When we're passionate about something, we can hyper focus and achieve incredible results. So, women with ADHD, we are super women. For real. It's easy to focus on the challenges, but women with ADHD also have unique strengths. We're highly creative, often seeing solutions and ideas that others might miss. Our ability to think outside the box makes us problem solvers and innovators. We're also deeply empathetic, connecting with others on a level that builds strong relationships. And when we care about something, our hyper focus allows us to pour all of our energy into it, making it happen. These strengths aren't just compensations for ADHD, they're superpowers. So, how do we manage ADHD? It starts with finding a system that works for you. Set reminders for tasks and appointments. Don't be afraid to rely on the tools like apps and planners that we have in these phones. These expensive phones, use them to plan. I saw a little joke on Instagram where it's like people with ADHD notes typically look like, and it's like a bunch of different notes. And I was like, that's so me. It's so weird that after I kind of had that conversation with a friend, I started seeing all these different things about ADHD and the symptoms and stuff like that. Breaking your tasks into smaller, manageable steps and prioritizing what's truly important is key. Therapy, especially cognitive behavior therapy, can be a game changer for learning to manage those negative thoughts and build productive habits. Connecting with others, whether it's through support groups or friends who understand, can make all the difference. I, for years, struggled with so many different symptoms with ADHD. And although my best friend, she wasn't really aware of like what was happening because I also wasn't, she was very patient with me throughout these years. And I had to tell her, once I really started learning about ADHD, I had to like thank her for like being so patient with me as a friend. So if you have friends who are really patient with you with understanding what you struggle with, or if you just go and check it out and see if it's something that you may be struggling with and you find out that's the issue, then you kind of think about those people who have been patient with you throughout the years that are still around. So I had to like send her a little message like, thank you for being patient with me, sis, you know? So another thing is medication. That's another option to consider. But remember that there's no one size fits all approach. The key is finding what works best for you. So self acceptance and empowerment is important. So give yourself grace. ADHD doesn't mean that you're broken or incapable. It just means your brain works differently. Learning to understand and embrace your unique way of thinking is the first step to thriving. Remember, progress doesn't have to be perfect. Every small step forward is worth celebrating. I had to learn how to celebrate the small wins, and you should too. So if this video resonated with you, I love to hear your story below in the comments. Share your experiences. Let's create a supportive space for women with ADHD. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more content, and share. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. Let's keep this conversation going and remind each other we're not alone in this. So I would like to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Until then, stay blessed and stay beautiful.